to absolute victory.
The world is changing, and it's changing fast. The US created new structures like NATO and the World Trade Organization.
This week might just be remembered as one of the most important weeks in the whole century.
Member countries of Brics, a growing non-Western economic collective.
The Brics group of nations has announced it will expand its membership as
a greeting fit for the future leaders of the world.
The Brics is trying to position itself as the voice for emerging economies and challenge Western dominance of global affairs.
The Brics, the group of emerging economies, is expanding and aims to challenge the dollar's dominance.
The bloc has a combined nominal GDP of over 23 trillion US dollars. That is slightly less than the size of the G7.
People who study history might look back and say, wow, that was a really big moment. However, I think we won't have to wait for extended periods for historians to declare this. Rather, I believe it may take a relatively short span of 5 to 10 years before ourselves recognize this gravity. The global world order is about to be ended. The way things work in the whole world is getting ready to change this week, and it's happening in South Africa, where the Brics nations are coming together for the first big meeting since the pandemic started. And guess what? They've got a lot on their agenda. It's not just about the dollarization or creating a new currency. They have even bigger plans. They're talking about new rules for the trading things, working together in the military, microchips, oil, gas, but more important, AI. China is preparing to assert its dominance in the field of AI. China's goal is to become a global leader in the field by 2030. A couple years ago, Vladimir Putin warned Russians that the country that led in technologies using artificial intelligence will dominate the world. He was right to be worried, and it's not only Putin. Most of the futuristic entrepreneurs, like Elon Musk or other leading technologies gurus, saying the same thing.
Musk and hundreds of influential names, including Apple co-founder Steve Wozniak, are calling for a pause in experiments.
Elon Musk is again sounding warning bells on the dangers of artificial intelligence to humanity.
I think we need to regulate AI safety.
An open letter signed by Elon Musk is calling for a pause on the development of more powerful artificial intelligence systems, citing risks to society and humanity.
I try to convince people to slow down AI.
You could start a war or something. It's like whatever drives the clicks, it will do.
It's too late.
The highest level of leadership in both United States and China, including Chinese President Xi Jinping, believe that leading in AI technology is critical to the future of global military and economic power competition. In our upcoming video, we'll be discussing this compelling AI topic, examining how new forces or governments who controls the AI may challenge the traditional global structure. This topic demands in-depth investigation. However, the list of the things they are talking about is never ending. What's happening below the surface that's really huge? What we see is only the surface of the iceberg. And if you're interested in what's going on to happen to the US dollar, you will want to pay attention. Now you might have heard a company called Goldman Sachs. Well, they are saying that by year 2050, the Brics nations are going to be superpower in the world economy. And G7 countries, which are like to be big important ones right now, might just be like old stuff from the past, like the leftover from really long time ago. This all began more than a decade ago as the modest group, but it was evolved into the most significant challenge to the US influence that we have encountered. Top of the world news agenda and the magazine headlines at the moment is all about Brics and US dollarization. How can the dollar, backed by nothing, compete against gold-backed currency? Fiat currencies, including US dollar, derive their value from the trust and the confidence placed in them by governments, banks, and citizens. They are not tied to a physical commodities like gold or silver. On the other hand, gold-backed currencies harks back to an era when physical commodities directly influence the value of money. Gold has been a store of value for centuries, revered for its scarcity, durability, and intrinsic worth. A currency backed by gold provides a level of assurance, as its value is tied to a tangible asset that has stood to the test of time. Gold-backed systems offer a safeguard against inflation and economic instability, as the currency's value is tethered to a limited and precious resource. Brics countries are home to more than 3.2 billion people, around 40% of the global population. none of the bloc's members in the G7. To increase its influence, Brics is considering bringing new members into the fold. At this summit, Russia and China are expected to approve the application for new countries into the Brics. Algeria, Bahrain, Egypt, Iran, Saudi Arabia, and UAE, just to name a few. They have all submitted requests for membership to the body, and the Turkish government has also expressed an interest into joining. And now more than 40 countries are interested to join Brics. And this is one of the reasons that Brics are becoming increasingly attractive to the developing nations. Brics now accounts for 41% of global GDP, and just a few months ago they overtook the United States and the G7 nations for the GDP dominance. Goldman Sachs won't have to wait until 2050, it's already happening. One of their top agenda last week meeting was on AI. Brics wants to dominate AI, and who will be the leader of this? None other than China. I don't know if you know this at all, but China is a communist country, and when a communist country makes a pledge like this, they have to put their best foot forward and do it, so they must make it happen. At Pentagon, a major threat to America is to China to become a dominant player in AI. In fact, an Air Force cybersecurity whistleblower warned that Pentagon 2 years ago said we must make an AI priority to our China or will crush us. He wasn't really a whistleblower. His name is Nicholas Chell. He warned everyone and no one listened to him. He saw what was happening, and because no one paid attention, he quit in protest. Now let's forward a bit. Imagine a world where the cards of power and influence have been reshuffled. The Brics Summit isn't just a meeting of minds. It's a glimpse into the future. In the world today, alliances are no longer solely built upon age-old traditions. Instead, they are founded on something much more powerful, the potential for mutual growth and cooperation. Oil powers Saudi Arabia and the United Arab Emirates have been invited to become members of the Brics group of developing nations in its first expansions in over a decade. Think about it. Nations that were once locked in a geopolitical shadows are now entering a pact that could rewrite history. Saudi Arabia and Iran walking the same path? Why not? If Saudi Arabia accepts the invitation, the world's largest crude oil exporter will find itself in the same economic bloc as the world's biggest oil importer, China. It will also mean that Russia and Saudi Arabia, both members of OPEC, a group of major oil producers, will join each other in a new economic bloc. The two countries often coordinate their oil output, which has in the past put Saudi Arabia at odds with its ally and the United States. Where there is a change, there are bound to be winds of resistance. Established world sheriff, the United States, are carefully watching this unfold saga. The ever-shifting sands of Middle Eastern politics are sending ripples across continents. Within the emergence of the new players in the Brics narrative, the scale is recalibrating. The old order, where one currency ruled, is now being challenged by the exciting idea of gold-backed currencies in the financial world. There is this amazing new idea that says money could be connected to a valuable gold. It's like a fresh way of looking at money that's making everyone excited and curious. It's already creating a lot of buzz in the finances and politics. The situation is quite serious. However, it's important to understand that this goes beyond just the money matters. It's about changing how much control certain things have, working together with others, and creating a world where one powerful group doesn't have complete control, or we will get controlled by new communist world rulers. It's clear that we are not just witnessing discussions. We are listening to the symphony. We are listening to the symphony of transition. Every carefully chosen word, every strategic decision. They are all notes in a composition that's shaping the world. As the summit concludes, we are left with a sense of anticipation that's nothing short of electric. This isn't the end, it's just the beginning of a new era. The echoes of the Brics Summit will linger, reminding us that the world is in a constant state of evolution. The theater where the stage is ever changing. What will happen if Brics is successful? What is the impact of Brics for the world economy? What happens if the dollar loses reserve status? What will happen to the gold value after the Brics currency? These questions are the ones that many people are really want to know the answers. The United States can exert influence on the foreign countries and their use of the United States dollar as a reserve currency through the various means, including the activities of American companies abroad. In recent times, the US has strategically employed the dollar as a means to pursue political goals, often resulting in economic sanctions against other countries. This tactic involves leveraging the dollar status as the world's primary reserve currency to impose financial restrictions and adversely affect the economies of the targeted nations. BRICS aims to increase its say in global organizations like the UN, IMF, and the World Bank, which were shaped by the post-World War II dynamics. They unite to reshape these institutions for today's world. Additionally, BRICS seeks alternatives to Western-dominated financial bodies, creating its own institutions like the BRICS Development Bank to reduce reliance on Western financial systems. Accepting BRIC currency could signal a shift in Europe's geopolitical alliances and economic partnerships. It could indicate a desire for closer ties with emerging economies and reduced reliance on traditional economic powers like US. Between inflation, sanctions, and banking crisis, there are storm clouds on the horizon for the dollar's hegemony. Investors may consider taking steps such as international diversifying their portfolios to be prepared in the event of significant dollar devaluation. According to some experts, this development might add a bullish momentum to the gold market and create new opportunities for investors interested in holding physical gold as a part of their retirement portfolio and reassurance their investments. The chapters of this tale are far from over. They lead us towards a world where power, strategy, and influence are painted on a canvas that's been reimagined as we speak. Thank you for joining me on this accelerating journey through the BRICS Summit's narrative. Remember, my friends, in a world of constant change, understanding the narratives that shape it's a key. Stay curious, stay informed, and keep seeking the stories that illuminate the path ahead.